Negan the Redeemed One was the tagline which appeared on Negan's promotional poster for Season 11 of The Walking Dead. Whether you agree with this take or not is down to your own personal opinion. However, I think it's fair to say that since the start of Season 8, The Walking Dead has desperately tried to make Negan appear more likeable than when he was first introduced on the show. Instead of randomly killing people left, right and centre, in The Walking Dead's 8th season, Negan suddenly started preaching about people being a resource and was talking about how much he was saving people. Yes, okay, in Season 8, Negan was still a dick, but the writers were trying to show us that there was more to him than just a psychotic dude who smashed people's skulls in with a baseball bat. There were reasons behind why he did the things that he did. Now personally, I find that Negan's change in character in Season 8 to be a bit forced, and it came off as feeling rather unnatural to me, but I can appreciate what the writers were trying to do. In Season 9, Negan is given even more opportunities to prove to the audience that he isn't actually an evil guy. He protects Lydia from being attacked, saves this random lady and her kid from a group of walkers, then has a cute scene where he bonds with the kid. The kid and his mum do both eventually die, but Negan gets his revenge by killing their killer. Finally, at the end of Season 9, Negan saves Judith from freezing to death in a snowstorm. In Season 10, Negan carries on in very much the same vein as Season 9. He helps Aaron when he temporarily blinds himself, he assists the protagonist by killing Alpha, and when presented with the opportunity to become the new Alpha, he rejects that in favour of saving Daryl. I'll admit Negan's actions in Season 11A are a bit more questionable in comparison to his actions in 8 to 10, however I do understand the reasons as to why he acts the way he does in 11A. As my examples illustrate, Negan has been provided with ample opportunities to show that he's changed since his first appearance on the show at the tail end of Season 6. He's also engaged in plenty of conversations with other characters in which he's attempted to explain away why he did the things that he did in an attempt to make him appear to be more reasonable. However, there's one thing in particular that Negan has never addressed, something which the Walking Dead writers seem keen to have kept swept under the carpet and pretend like it never happened. Of course, what I'm referring to is Negan's wives. In Season 7, Episode 7, we are introduced to Negan's harem when Negan shows Carl around the room where his wives reside. I recently watched this scene again, and honestly, everything about it creeps the fuck out of me. Negan kisses one of his wives on the forehead before telling her that she can't cheat on him. Meanwhile, she's just sat there crying because she misses her real boyfriend, knowing that Negan is soon going to put a hot iron to his face. We also see Negan hold Sherry's chin in this really fucking awkward manner before kissing her when he knows that she clearly doesn't want to kiss him. I mean, she's only with him in the first place because he said he would kill her husband Dwight if she refused to be one of his wives. According to Negan, the women of his harem all agreed to play the part of being a wife in exchange for certain privileges, be that receiving more food or gaining access to better medicine, for example. The thing is though, this is an absolute crock of shit. As we see from spending time with Negan's wives, these women are all completely broken. The only choice Negan offers them is a complete non-choice. So you want Dwight to live, do you, Sherry? Well, in that case, you've got to be my wife. I mean, really, what kind of choice is that? That's not a choice, that's coercion. Forcing someone to do something through either threatening them or someone that they love. Sherry didn't join Negan because she wanted to live a life of luxury, she did so to save her husband. And the same applies to Amber. She agreed to be Negan's wife in order to get medication for her sick mother. Sure, she didn't have to be Negan's wife, but really what other option did she have? Let her mum succumb to her sickness and die? Yes, I'm aware that Negan tells Amber that if she doesn't want to be with him, she can leave. However, I think it's important to note that his exact words to her are, "You can leave and I'll find a new job opening for you." Now, I can't imagine that this new job opening will be sunshine and rainbows. It would have probably been something like Daryl was doing, being a domestic slave, or it could have even involved working on the wall outside with the walkers. My point is, whilst Amber might have technically been able to stop being a wife, she would have likely been punished for doing so. She would have likely been forced to do a shitty and potentially dangerous job, in addition to losing the medication that she needed to give to her mother. But Josh, why didn't she just run away then, some of you might ask? Well, look at what happened to Dwight and Sherry when they tried to run. Negan sent the Saviors after them. Also in Season 7 Episode 3, Dwight was sent by Negan to kill Gordon, a saviour who also tried to run away. Therefore, running away is not really a viable option. Amber and the rest of the wives were stuck, which is just how Negan liked it. The impression I get is that Negan preyed on vulnerable women, women who he knew were in a shit situation who would agree to be his wife if he gave them something they needed, which is pretty fucked up. Now we move on to the big question that seems to be being asked a lot on the internet lately, or at least I keep coming across it anyway, and that question is, did Negan rape these women? Did he in fact even have sex with them at all? Well, JDM certainly doesn't think so. He posted on Twitter that he believes that Negan slept alone and that he just kept these women around to chew their ears off, as he puts it. He just wanted them there so he could have someone to talk to. Now for some people that might be enough. They might look at this and say, well, it's come straight from the horse's mouth after all. JDM plays Negan, so therefore his word must be final and he must be correct. Personally, I don't agree with this, because notice how JDM says, I think Negan slept alone, meaning it's just his opinion. He doesn't come out and say, I know for certain that Negan slept alone, so I don't think this is something that the writers have explicitly told him is canon. Even JDM can't be 100% certain that Negan didn't have sex with his wives, which means we can't rule out the possibility of it happening. Secondly, I want you just to take a look at this clip from Season 7, Episode 4, and pay attention to the way in which Negan talks about Maggie.
Widows? Especially ones that look like that, they are special. I love them. Right after their husbands go, they are just empty inside. But usually not for long.
Now you could argue that Negan was being a prick here on purpose. He was saying this shit to rile Rick up in order to see if he'd react and fall out of line. Or you could argue that at this point in time, Negan is just a dude who doesn't respect women. I mean, this is a guy who is talking about having sex with a woman whose husband he just killed. If he's prepared to do that, what makes you think he wouldn't have sex with his wives at the sanctuary, or even force them to have sex with him? I mean, honestly, why would any man have 5 or 6 wives if he wasn't going to have sex with them? Oh, he just wanted to talk to them. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, Jeffrey. If all Negan wanted to do was talk, then why did he go out of his way to choose only extremely attractive women as his wives? I'm sorry, but I'm not buying it. Of course, there's a chance that I may be wrong because we don't ever see this happen on the show, but even if Negan didn't have sex with these women, what he did to them was still messed up. Now, some of you may be thinking to yourselves, why does this matter? Why does this matter now all of a sudden 5 seasons later? Well, it matters to me because I like Negan. Negan is one of the best, if not the best character left on the show. However, his Season 7 harem still hangs over his head like a dark cloud, and I feel like The Walking Dead needs to address this instead of continuing to brush it under the carpet. Maggie has been given a platform to confront the man who killed her husband on many occasions. Hell, 11A is these two pretty much paired up for its entire run. But why then have none of the wives been able to confront the man who forced them into being part of his harem? Maggie and Negan have been given a chance to talk about Glenn till the cows come home, but God forbid one of the wives confront Negan about what he did to them. The fates of Negan's wives on The Walking Dead are as follows. Frankie was killed by Alpha, Sherry was shipped off to Fear the Walking Dead, and Tanya and Amber, I believe they haven't been seen since Season 9. I believe the reason why The Walking Dead got rid of these characters is simple. They want us to forget about the time Negan had these wives. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the reason why many viewers still watch the show today. Negan is insanely popular, and the last thing the writers want is anyone coming out and saying that their golden boy is a rapist or an abuser. You only need to go on the Walking Dead Reddit page to find many threads criticising Negan's behaviour with his wives. And this discussion has spread even further than just the Walking Dead community. The Magic the Gathering community kicked up a fuss when the Walking Dead Secret Lair cards were announced because many of them didn't want Negan in their game due to what he did to these women. I've even come across some people commenting on the Fortnite Reddit page when Rick Grimes was announced, saying that they hoped Negan wouldn't appear in the future because he's a rapist, their words. This discussion isn't going to go away, and before The Walking Dead ends, I really think that AMC needs to address this problem. Perhaps they can bring back Sherry from Fear to confront Negan, because I don't think that Negan is ever going to truly be Negan the redeemed one when what he did to these women keeps getting swept under the carpet. Personally, I've moved on from what Negan did to Abe and Glenn in Season 7 thanks to The Walking Dead shining a constant spotlight on their deaths in the season that have passed since they happened. Characters have spoken about it, and the reasons as to why it happened have been explained. It's now time for The Walking Dead to stop being cowards and cast the spotlight on what Negan did to his wives. Otherwise, Negan's character is forever going to be tarnished. He's always going to have the word rapist next to his name followed by a question mark, no matter what further good deeds he does between now and the end of the show.